All right, what up, hot tubbers? Grab that coffee, dip your feet in. We're bringing professional back and shirtless. Coming in live from the Hot Tub Studio in Connecticut. This is episode number 11. I'm here with an awesome guy, founder and CEO of InspireLink, Brian Benson. Interviews entrepreneurs like I do. And because we're both hosts, we're going to have a battle of the hosts and cross-interview each other. We both do similar things, but in completely different ways. Really awesome to have you here, Brian. Can you tell me a little bit about you, your story, and how you came up with the idea of InspireLink?
Dude, well, first of all, thank you. I'm very grateful. What's up, Hot Tub Joe fans? This is such a pleasure to be here. InspireLink came. It was we were doing a live conference. So people were just showing up, and we had founder of Best Buy, Dick Scholes. We had Ralph Stair, founder of Johnsonville Sausage. We had the chairman of Hertz. We had Reinhold Schmieding from Arthrex, and it became really, really popular. And I said, why are we doing this just for this X amount of people? We need to be interviewing these people, getting these incredible business minds and inspiring stories out into the world. So that's kind of where the idea clicked for me. I mean, I saw other people doing podcasts, interviewing people, but I just thought I could do it at a different level and really move it toward extracting great business minds for the millennials and the business students at universities. So I really target the university space. That's 100% where I'm going with this thing. So.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So far, so good, man. Am I asking you back, or do you want to just continue? Or because I want to hear the Hot Tub Joe story. Really, first of all, incredible brand. Second of all, I just love your attitude and the way that you've just come about this. So tell me that story and how you got to doing this, bro.
Yeah. First off, thanks for being on the show. What's funny is for the viewers, we actually used to play on the same soccer team. He was our goalkeeper. We won a ton of games back in the day, right?
We were good, bro. We were both good. We were good. Now we're old, man.
Now we're old. We're both pursuing our own passions, and we're killing it. All right. So the Hot Tub brand, it started back in the day. No, it was 6 months ago. I was in my hot tub. I was making videos on relationships and passions and love, and it was inside a community where people were just kind of like watching videos and commenting on it. And sooner and later, then some people started calling me Hot Tub Joe. And then I think what was the big aha moment was simple reminders that the founder, Bryant McGill, he has about 7 million followers. So when he commented on my video, he had a live stream going and he was like, "What's up, Hot Tub Joe?" And I was just like, dude, did he just acknowledge me? And I was like, it was a complete honor, but at the same time, that moment clicked where I was like, that name Hot Tub Joe is really clicky. So I immediately went to GoDaddy.com and I was like, is this domain name available? That was the base of the founding of HotTubJoe.com.
Dude, that's awesome. All from a shout out, that's so cool, bro.
I feel like everything you see around now with the LED screens and and the TVs and the microphones, everything wasn't here before. It was just, it was a unremodeled garage and had rakes and shovels in the background, and it was crazy.
So you just had to execute on that idea. After Hot Tub Joe, you're like, okay, now I actually have to be Hot Tub Joe and go in this hot tub and do this.
But I feel like the idea just kept on building on top of each other. The studio, it was just like a studio. It was just a garage, and it slowly kind of progressed. I don't know. I just had a passion in building, and it grew from one thing to the next, which was kind of crazy. It wasn't all at once. It was just maybe I'll add the lights this weekend. Maybe I'll put up some drywall the next week and throw a couple of nails in this wall.
Yeah, I love that, man, and what that shows is if other people who are listening want to build something similar, podcasting, whatever, it's not impossible. You just build it nail by nail, brick by brick, just like how you did. Hey, improve it every day and you'll constantly get better, and then eventually you'll be sitting in a hot tub shirtless talking to your boy from Florida.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's honestly the only way I believe in doing it is because people think you're going to have an overnight success. InspireLink probably was not created overnight. It's been
It's been a long
you probably
time.
had a lot of long days, a lot of interviews before you started landing bigger people, So actually, a question back right at you. What are strategies you go about in terms of finding people that you interview?
Well, first of all, like where I live, I've been extremely blessed. I was in the insurance business for over 6 years, and I was working with affluent families, and I just built a really, really big network. My dad taught me as a young kid, like, build your Rolodex, grow your network, and ever since then, I've always just felt like every time I go somewhere, shake hands, meet people, grow, and now it's coming back in a big way because I'm asking people, hey, like, who do you know? How do you know this? How can I get to this person? Oh, I'm looking for this person. Like, I mean, I know you're going to ask me this, but that's exactly how I got to Gary Vaynerchuk, is complete networking. So that's how I've been able to get guests. I've just been strategically planting seeds along my way with my networks, and eventually people will say, oh, I know somebody you should interview, dude. That would be awesome. And then I'm like, let's do it. And then email introduction. I got like the simple email introduction where I say, hey, say this to them. And I have I'm batting close to 100%. So it's been good that way.
I think once you have like that social, almost they call it social capital.
Yeah.
You basically, I've interviewed this guy, and this guy. Would you be interested in interviewing? It's a reputable podcast. It's a reputable show. And after a while, people start just kind of I think I started interviewing people like a couple weeks ago, and now like I have almost organic people that want to be on the show and share their brand. And I think that's really cool. It's definitely awesome to network with people that want to be networked.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, I mean, eventually it will get to a point where we're just getting inbound people wanting to be on just because of all the things that we're doing and promoting ourselves and getting out there. Sorry, my homie was just left I had a side hustle podcast before this, so.
I understand the hustle. It's cool.
Absolutely, bro. So I want to go into something that I think is really important, and this is the vulnerability, Joe. Like, this is, what's like been your biggest challenge so far, like as an entrepreneur and building out this brand?
I think one of the biggest challenges is like, where do you start? I think understanding where you start, and then do I have to build this myself, or do I have help along the way? And I think that the big thing with entrepreneurs is there's a lot of competition. There's like unnecessary competition, and I think they don't realize where collaboration can come into effect, like such as interviewing each other and us building each other up at the same time is much more effective than kind of building your own brand by yourself. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling because they haven't realized the power of network, the power of community, and until they realize the social capital that comes along with other people that are working towards the same goals, then they're going to continue struggling. It's just kind of like a weird thing that you understand over time.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, the collaboration over competition can be, there's enough out there for everybody, and I love that you have that mindset, and I love that you asked me to be here. I feel very grateful for that, and that's been so cool is, our collaboration can only lead to building each other's brands, and I don't, just because you're podcasting and I'm podcasting, maybe you want to interview some of the people that I've interviewed, maybe I want to interview some of those people. Like, it's not the worst thing, we can work together and continue building still different audiences in a lot of ways, and I think that that's the mindset that you need, and I love that you have it.
Dude, I'm telling you, I feel like there's some people out there that they're like, I need to be the best out there, but the truth is, there's always someone at a level higher, and there's really no point in kind of competing. It's just, I feel like it's a losing game if you it's like kind of swimming against the current.
I totally agree. If you're always trying to battle everybody else, I think eventually you'll just be taken down. There's always people trying to climb, like, and I just did a podcast on leadership a little bit ago, and we just talked about like great leaders create other great leaders. It's why John Lee Dumas created Podcasters Paradise. Like, he's a major podcaster. Yeah, he's making $500K a month, but like he's teaching others how to grow and build wealth and business. Like, that's cool to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's got that right attitude. He's not worried about it. He just goes there and continues to help build others up. You will win if you do that.
Right, and actually, if you watch them closely, they actually have like a close-knit collaboration circle with like Pat Flynn, and I think even Gary Vee's in it. Like, they've all interviewed each other, and you know, they're the people that kind of are inside their brand branch out with the other people's brand, and you know, it's just kind of like merging circles, and they keep just bumping each other and merging. You know, it's kind of like a ripple effect.
It really does, dude. That is so true. Yeah, they have a close circle, and then but it just expands forever.
Yeah, totally. Anybody that's watching this right now, go ahead on InspireLink, like his page, share up some content. That's the whole point of connecting with other brands. Anyways, so my next question is, where do you see your brand going into the future?
You know, I want to be in every university in the country. Like I said, we're trying to link the gap between the academic experience and the real business world experience, and we're going to do that by pairing our content with the professor's curriculum. So I see InspireLink in every university in the country, trying to help the next generation of leaders by extracting some of the best best ideas and information from some of the best business minds in the world.
I love it. You're like literally on the road. You already interviewed Gary Vee. You interviewed Pat Flynn. Those are like the top two guys that I always listen to in the podcast. I don't know. My bucket list is complete there.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll believe it or not, dude. I can't 100% say I could get Gary Vee for you, but I could probably get you a contact with Pat Flynn for sure if you need that. Like, he was probably just the coolest guy ever, and it was a real pleasure to just have a conversation with him, because he's so open, he's so transparent, and he's so willing to just help other people. He was a really fun guest that I was able to have a conversation with, man. So,
but like, and this kind of goes back to like where you're networking. Like, Pat Flynn would have never guessed you would have been talking to me today about his brand, and then Pat Flynn's brand is like kind of rippling onto mine, and it's just like, you know, it's kind of cool. It's like, because he showed up, and I mean, as big as he is, he still had the time for us.
Yeah, you know, and Joe, you bring up a good point for your listeners, like, and I'm not just like to promote, but actually, if you listen to the Gary Vee interview I did, he talks about that exact thing. He's like, it's exactly why I'm doing this podcast. Like, and for him to say that, it's like, dude, now I'm sitting here on your show talking about Gary Vee in front of your audience who may or may not know him, but that's a big deal, right? Like, that's why he did it. That's why you give back. That's why you do shows and help each other, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's just more exposure and it's better, dude. It's awesome.
Well, I mean, no matter how big they are, I mean, if someone hasn't heard of them, they're still small in their world, you know?
Exactly, dude. I mean, and a lot of the people, you know, believe it or not, like, I interview a lot of people. Like, I've had billionaires next to me in my chair, and I feel very blessed for that, but if I asked them, like, oh, do you know Gary Vaynerchuk, they'd have no idea. You know, they're like, I've built a Fortune 50 company, but I don't know who Gary Vee is. So actually, recently, a couple times when I've been out, because I thought it was such a cool interview, the people were like, I've never heard of Gary Vee. So I was like, oh, all right. Like, it didn't make me as cool as I wanted it to, but it was kind of funny. But, you know, I mean, that's just how it goes, though. But, again, now more exposure for him, because now they're going to look him up and see who he is. So
I totally agree. I think every brand has, like, you know, immeasurable potential. So you never know, like, someone that you're interviewing with, like, 5 likes could spiral out of control into, like, 100 million. You know, I mean, you never know. And that one interview that you had with the person, you know, and you could have even learned a couple things from the interview that you didn't learn before, and started applying it to your business, and it completely changed your business in a whole nother way.
Oh,
But
dude, you hit the nail on the head, bro. One piece of content could change your life, like truly.
yeah,
You know, it really could. And you know, that's what I want to talk to you about, though. Is kind of like when you started doing this live streaming stuff, because Gary's talked about this, everybody's talked about that. You're starting from, you know, how many viewers do you get on like Facebook Live now? Like probably a good amount on Periscope too.
I think for live viewers, we probably get about like 40. But like over time, you know, like I was looking at the live video that we did yesterday, and it like hit like 600 people already. And it's just like, who are watching? Like, who's watching this video right now? But like I said, like people share it, and then it ripples off into their circles, and you know, before you know it, you're reaching someone that you could be interviewing in the next show. So.
Yeah, let me ask you this. So when you first started, and like, you know, I've done this too, but like when you first start and you're like looking at your Facebook Live or your Periscope, there's like 3 people on there, you know, and then maybe it reaches like 10 people. Like, what gave you the motivation to continue pushing through, Joe? Because I think a lot of people decide to just say, nobody's watching anyway, so why should I continue? Like, what did that for you? Because you've been so consistent, and I love it. So give me some knowledge on that.
I think that's like a great question, and I'm not going to claim that I'm like a great live like periscoper, because I do periscope a lot, but I also do live streaming like we are right now. And I think one of the biggest key information is it doesn't really matter how many viewers there are. I mean, great, there is if there's people watching, but every interview that you have, every time you have the chance to live speak, you're practicing a skill. You're honing down on becoming more confident in public speaking, whether you might be public speaking in front of people in a live audience or live streaming on the internet. I think going from Periscope to Facebook Live is like a huge jump. For some reason, Facebook Live is a little more intimidating. I don't know how everybody feels about that, but you know,
all your friends are there.
You're definitely streaming to a much bigger community on Facebook. But like I said, when you're doing some live streaming at any time, even if there's one viewer, treat that one viewer like there's millions, because it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter if you have 1 million viewers, as long as you have one viewer and you can change their life, then that's all that really matters. Like I think if you have 1 million viewers and none of them are engaged, really, they're kind of just like bouncing around, and it doesn't mean anything. But if you have 1,000 viewers that are raving fans, then and they love you, then that's all that really matters, and you're changing their lives in positive ways. So that's kind of like my perspective on it. What about you? Are you hitting the live streaming up?
Oh, dude. Well, I'm really starting to get it going. And God, I love that, dude. That's the best. That's one of the best things I've heard in a long time. But I just love how, like you just said, like if you can impact just one person, like you treat those first few people starting to watch you like gold, man. And I think that's just a great mindset, brother, and I appreciate that about you, because that's why I think you're going to continue to build this brand and continue to move forward and really crush it, dude. I mean, I love that, dude. Yeah, I just think you got to pay attention to people in the live stream. And, you know, I remember one of my first Periscopes, which I'm not doing as much as I was, because I actually like Facebook Live a little bit better now, but you get a lot of haters right out the gate, man. I mean, I'm just like sitting there like acting like, oh my God. I mean, they're saying the worst things possible, but you know, it just builds that thick skin and stuff. But it's just like, oh damn, like, is this what I'm subjecting myself to? Like, why would I continue this? But and then you find the people who love you, and then they go away.
I completely agree. The one thing I would want to add is I feel like every hater is just kind of like, it's almost like a reflection of themselves. So yeah. I think you can turn them around, and you can actually make them become raving fans of your show, of your brand. You know, like they're there for a reason. They're not leaving because they're still interested, and you know, at the end of the day, they're spending time. So if you're able to be convincing enough to tell them a great story and appear genuine to them, and be genuine, then you're gonna sell them, and then they'll become part of your fan base. You know, if I could tell you like a small story, there is an extreme hater on Periscope one time, and he was like, you know, he's saying all the normal stuff like, dude, you know how they'll like throw in like a completely random generated piece of content, like, you know, what did you do on Saturday? I ate macaroni or something. And I'm just like, dude, it's so irrelevant. And then like I'll like literally direct laser focus attention to them, and I'll like completely like talk to them like, so what's bothering you today, and kind of gauge their interests. And then they're like, it's really hard for someone to hate you if you're showing interest in their interests, especially like what I mean. It could be part of the reason why they're hating on you is because they're just they've been neglected for so long. But
love that mindset, bro. Again, that's good, man. It's kind of like when I guess when you're getting like heckled or you're doing stand-up comedy or something, it's like then you just focus on like the heckler, and usually they just go away or they just chill out. That's cool, man.
Next to your live stream, definitely focus on the heckler. Actually, practice right now. What would you say?
God dang.
Something here, dude. What is that?
Yeah. Oh man, is everything okay? Like, are you doing all right? Why would you say that? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would say. I would just be cool, man. Because I just, it is. If you're cool to them and you're just like, okay, well, what's going on? Like, why are you acting like that? Yeah. Then either they'll just log off because they're like, oh, he paid attention to me, I did my job, and go, or they'll try to continue going. But it's like you said, like once you engage them and then they realize like, okay, this person is authentic, this person is real, like that's what, he's on here for a good reason. Then you can build hopefully a connection, and then they'll be nice at some point.
So no, I completely agree. All right, so back to both the brands. What products do you have in line? I guess for the future of InspireLink. What type of business deals do you think you're going to be getting in the future or aiming towards?
Yeah, right now we're closing schools, man. I mean, I just want to, we're really focusing hard on closing schools and hopefully building out a pretty cool delivery set for their university and their students. So right now we have one school under contract, and we're working on a couple others. So, I mean, that's where all my focus is on right now. I think down the road there's going to be a lot of other stuff. I just can't say what that is exactly because I want to really infiltrate the university students and then figure out what the heck they want and what's going to be most valuable to them, so I can help them once they leave the university to continue building their businesses and continue thriving. So whatever I can add value there, but I just have to figure out what that is. I mean, we're still at pretty ground zero.
Right. Do you mean like doing speaking gigs at schools or?
I mean, we're putting our content into universities to pair with their curriculum. That's where we're really going in. I actually, believe it or not, I did get asked to speak recently because I do a whole talk on how to crack open your comfort zone. So I was asked to speak at a high school, about 140 students. So I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be like one of my first really like getting out there with this personal brand / InspireLink brand, which is pretty cool. So I guess if you're talking about products or services that InspireLink is going to have, it's going to be a lot of me probably going out and doing some speaking gigs and things like that too, because I love just being in front of people. And
yeah,
that's my favorite. So what about you? Where's Hot Tub Joe going? What's some products and services that you're going to be bringing? Because I know it's going to be some great stuff, and hopefully once I start building my audience out even bigger, I can start filtering them to you for some stuff.
Totally. There's a few products in the pipeline. We got. I actually started outsourcing some work. I wanted to get into software, but I didn't have the time to learn software, but I had a really compelling idea to build Hot Tub Joe, the brand, to another level using like social scheduling and automating it in the area of like networking between pages and page owners. So we're coming up with this piece of software called Hot Tub Labs, and we're going to start advertising it pretty soon. It should be out October 1st. But it's basically going to allow people to schedule their posts automatically on multiple different social platforms.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for the Hot Tub Joe brand itself, I'm really hoping that I'm going to be like the go-to hot tub guy for hot tub companies in the far future. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna start advertising to like hot tub companies. Like, there's one called Hot Tub. There's also called Jacuzzi, and all the major brands. I hope like eventually when we're hitting like a much larger audience would be really cool. To sponsor them,
Yeah, no, I think that's a good plan. Are you ever going to get into like any kind of speaking or anything? Because I think you would be great at that. I think you have so much knowledge to give. I mean, yeah, you can reach a massive audience, but I know you also like being in person with people, doing meetups. And do you see yourself, a Hot Tub Joe meetup or something one day?
Hey, I mean, if there ever comes a time in Crossroads where there's like a dual public speaking gig, well, maybe we'll be at the same event and host a Hot Tub Joe and Inspirelink.
Dude, I'm getting in that hot tub with you next time, brother.
I'm telling you never know where these journeys are going to lead us, dude. So if there is speaking gigs in the future for us and they appear, like I'm totally open to it. I'll just throw that token into the air.
Yeah, hey, I love it, man. I'm down.
I'll be there. And same goes for Brian Benson of Inspirelink. I'm sure he'll be interested. But yeah, that's totally something I'd be interested in. I think it's much more different speaking live in front of an audience.
Yeah, why do you think you're more like the difference between that and getting on live stream? Because I did have a question on here, like how do you get a lot of people want to get on live stream, but they go, I don't know what the heck I'm going to talk about. How do I even start by doing that? Like, just give your audience some like tips on like, hey, here's how I started and here's what I talked about. Did you have bullet points? Did you create like, okay, I'm going to talk about these things? Like, how do you do that?
I think the first tip I would throw out there is there's a lot of people out there that have dreams, right? And I think the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is people that actually, followed through on their goals. They followed through on just the daily tasks, everyday tasks. So if I'm about to do a Periscope, I'll jot down some bullet points on a subject that I feel is important to me. Like I think my brand is almost I'm my own customer, kind of. Like I like to learn, and especially like with interviews through you, like I'm constantly learning, like what you're doing and hopefully like applying it to my brand. If I'm not applying it to my brand, then I don't think there's a point. But because if we're constantly applying, we're constantly growing, and it's just almost like a pattern of infinite growth. So yeah, I make bullet points. I have if I'm doing it in my car, I'll put like sticky notes all over my steering wheel.
I love it.
Just like kind of mix and match them depending on what order I want to put them in. Because topics, when you're drafting up like almost what you want to say, you're kind of like, well, this makes more sense to say in front of that. So sticky notes is a great solution for the people out there listening.
I love that. I love how you're scratching your own itch, man. I love that. Just doing what you love, and that's how I feel about Inspirelink too, man. I had an interesting college experience. I loved it, of course, but it didn't prepare me for the unknown, the entrepreneur world, and that's what I want to do is really prepare more our future leaders with a lot of that content, so they're ready. They're more career ready, more ready to build a business and take it on, because it's a lot of work, man.
Literally, there's so much work behind the scenes. So like people know that I work a full-time job, but then we also almost work a full-time job right after our full-time. So I'm pretty much working 80 hours a week. But
oh, I know, dude. Look at us. I mean, I'm doing side hustle podcasts on Saturdays. We're staying late. I'm up at 4:30 every morning, like hustling, like gym, getting my body and mind healthy. Like, dude. It is, you're burning it hard. You're burning hard hours when you want to really create your passion, and if you're not doing that, Joe, then you aren't really trying to live your dream. You're not trying to live your passion. If you aren't willing to put in that time and that effort, I'm not saying kill yourself, but I am saying like there's a level of effort that you need to rise to own your passion and to live it. Because if you think that your dreams are going to come true by you not building out this set and putting this hot tub in there and like sweat equity, then it's not going to happen. It doesn't just appear. Like this stuff, like action takers and non-action takers. There's successful people, non-successful people. Take massive action.
Exactly. Yeah, you said it really inspiring, and you really said it well. But I completely agree with you. You got to be like completely laser focused. I mean, if you're not building something that's on your business, maybe it's something that can be affecting your business somehow. But you got to be giving it attention every single day. Otherwise, the fan's going to stop blowing, and then you're going to get unmotivated. But what are ways that you stay motivated to be inspired? I know, like, for our brands, like both, I can totally see the passion that you have in yours, and I definitely have passion in mine. But for people starting out, what advice would you give to them to stay motivated, to stay focused?
First of all, Joe, I would just focus on why you're doing it, why you care so much. One guy told me kind of like a life hack, but he said, why don't you take like your ideal audience and pull up pictures of them and like put them on your wall, like, and look at those people like every day, like, oh my God, like if I get another student that comes out of college and fails at a business or doesn't know what to do or it doesn't even start, I mean, that drives me crazy. It's like, oh man, like believe so much in your why, and the other thing, like, that I just truly believe in is this kind of theory called like house money. And every day we go out into the world, Joe, we are playing with money we already won at the casino. Our money's in the bank. Say you won $1 million, but you put, $500,000 back in the bank. Like, and you're sitting, that stuff's in the bank. Like, that's my family. That's my wife. That is in the bank. That's fine. So every day I go out, it's like, this is house money. I can play with this. I can have fun, and I can just enjoy it and push myself and see how much more I can collect. And that's how I stay motivated every day, Joe.
Yeah, it's apparent you are totally motivated.
Well, tell me how you stay motivated, because now I need to know from you so I can implement other things.
That's you flipped it on me. I think there's no such thing as a bad idea. I think every bad idea leads to a great business, because you're learning constantly from your mistakes. You're learning constantly from your failures, and you're pivoting from them. Mm-hmm. So I stay motivated by failing and trying to figure out what did I do wrong and how can I do better. So, like, for example, I had a business the first business I ever started is called sharefinals.com, and it was based on trying to pass exams using previous exams in classrooms. And I was like, first of all, what did I learn from this failed business? Well, one, it wasn't the most ethical. So I was like, I got to start creating ethical businesses, businesses that will be based on studying rather than kind of taking a shortcut. So ever since then, I stopped taking shortcuts. I started really focusing on building an ethical business, something that people can build off positively. And something else that I guess would also really motivate me is following people that really are experts in their field, like gurus like Bryant McGill, Grant Cardone, Pat Flynn, Brian Benson.
Yeah, come on, no, not there yet.
But like we follow experts, and we can learn from hours and hours of their failures within minutes, or they spent years like discovering this failure, and we learn it within a minute. So that's how I get motivated. I listen to really inspiring people too if I ever start to lose the flame. But if you really love what you're doing, you'll have a bad day. But if you stay passionate, if you really love what you're doing, then it'll rekindle right away. It's just kind of like I think you really need to be passionate, otherwise you won't be able to sail through the bad storms. It's kind of just my take on it. Make sure you're really passionate in what you're about to pursue, and also have a business plan behind it. Mm-hmm. And you'll probably most likely be successful. Like, there's a lot of people that have tons of passion but no plan. Some people have so much plan but no passion, and the reason why they fail is the combination of both and possibly money. So.
No, I 100% agree, and I love that first part you talked about. It's like it's there's really no failure. It's win or learn. You know, you fail forward. Like you always are. It's every failure is a learning experience. There's no failure. Like it is. I have failed so many times I can't even freaking talk about it, man. I was a freaking like DF student. I was not good in school. I failed so much. It's ridiculous. But it's just built me to be stronger mentally and keep me more focused and say, all right, it's exactly what you said. It was like, okay, a few of my first businesses, I had no plan. Like, how am I going to make money? But I'm like going down this rabbit hole like, okay, wait a second. There's no light at the end of this tunnel. So you turn around and go back, and then you just keep pressing forward.
I love it. Yeah, you gotta love to fail. I think this is a great place to probably end this interview. Is there any last closing statements you want to throw out to any advice that you want to give to people starting out their businesses?
Oh man, I mean, I guess just figure out why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, I know everybody knows the Simon Sinek thing, but I guess figure out why, and then I want to go into what you said there is put a plan around that why, that passion, you know, your purpose, because I believe, like you said, any business can be profitable and you can create wealth for yourself, but you have to have passion for it, but you have to have that implementation, that plan. So what about you? Give me some of the best Hot Tub Joe advice. And first of all, the listeners, like, continue following this guy. Like, he is going places. He is going so far. He's is unbelievable. He's been a great friend to me, and I'm very grateful for him. So thank you for just doing what you do, Joe. I love you, man.
Thanks for being here, dude. I think the best piece of advice, we kind of brushed on it earlier, is just take action. Mm-hmm. Take so much action every single day, day in, day out, and don't go to sleep if you're not satisfied. Mm-hmm. Be hungry every single day. If you want to be a leader in your area of expertise, you're going to have to put in the hours. And it doesn't have to be painful. Do stuff that you love. Make sure it's something that you absolutely love before you go in. Otherwise, it's going to be a painful ride. It's going to be a short ride, and you're going to be left in the dust. The other last thing I would say is, I noticed you started branding on your name, Brian Benson as well. You started the page. I think branding on your name is extremely important. It allows you not to have an easy way out. Like, you're branding on your name. You're never going to leave your name, but you may leave something that you just started out a year ago, 2 years ago, like maybe something called, like, I don't know, like shoe. If it was a shoe company, you can kind of leave it because you might lose interest in it, but you'll never lose interest in your name.
You'll never lose interest in your name, Joe, and also, like, I think personal brands are so big right now that the Inspire link isn't going to define me if it fails. You know what I mean? Like, or another venture isn't going to define who I am. Like, that's just stuff I'm just continuously pushing. But this isn't going to be my last business, and there's going to be plenty more in the future. So I might as well brand myself and continue just being me. Like, that's what I got to do.
It's the easiest business to work off, and that's why I think one of the reasons is, like, Hot Tub Joe is doing well, better than expected, is because of community, but also because it's really easy to be yourself. And if you're yourself, people are going to like you. I mean, you got to be, I feel like the only way you're not going to be liked by people in today's world is if you're just a mean person. Like, don't be a mean person, but
dude, it doesn't cost anything to be just nice, you know what I mean? So
people are surprised you'd be surprised how many people get a compliment every day. It's very few, actually. A lot of people don't get any nice things all day, and I think that's why a lot of people are miserable today. I think if you brand off positivity, you'll have a successful brand no matter what.
Is exactly right. Positivity and helping people. I mean, dude, your whole brand is helping people. Like, and I think that's so cool. You're definitely teaching people, and I just love. You know what? Oh, one more thing. Sorry, I love if. earlier in the interview, Joe said, he scratched his own itch. If you are going to start a business, make sure it's something that is painful to you. Like Joe had a thirst to learn more about love and business and relationships and all sorts of great things and positive things, like and he wanted to create a brand around that, but he wanted to learn more, so he brings on people like me. I'm not as big as some of his other people he's brought on, but I think that that's so important, is like scratch your own itch in your business, because if you don't care about it, then chances are your users or community or whatever it is will not care about it.
Dude, thanks for the words. But yeah, this is Brian Benson, CEO of InspireLink, founder. Thanks so much for being on the show. Definitely have you again at some point down the line, see how far we've grown, and definitely reconnect. But thanks again for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Joe. You're a great friend. Stay, I guess, cool, because I think you said the hot tub's cold right now. So, all right, brother, man. Thank you. Hey, to your audience, I'm so grateful. Keep following this guy, and let's just keep collaborating, bro. Thank you so much.
Where do they find you again?
You can find me at InspireLink. Brian, you can email me if you want to have a conversation about anything. You can hit me up at brian@inspirelink.com. InspireLink Solutions is my Facebook page, so check me out there, or Brian C. Benson on most of my handles. Kind of all over the place, but yeah, just hit me up on any of those. Just feel free. I love to. I do coaching and consulting all the time, so whatever you need, I'm here to help.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
All right, brother. Talk soon.